I work with 2 family lawyers because we've had situations in 2 different counties, just because one of my kids' dads live in a different county. And so I have a lawyer there, and then I have a lawyer in this county, and then I'm missing one. I have a trademark attorney. His name is Mitch. He's great. He's phenomenal. He's in Florida. I think I have a 5th one. I can't remember. So they're on retainer at all times because I never know what I'm going to need. And I will literally text them like, hey, like, need to do a call or whatever. And so and now I want to go to law school.
I can't imagine, like you were saying, the mental health stuff, right? You're so transparent. So sometimes I see that and I'm like, why would you want to be an attorney? Because it's just as depressive on this side.
The Love and Order Podcast with your host, LawyerLimor.
This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed on this podcast are not legal advice that can be relied on. They are based solely on the limited information provided. These opinions do not create any attorney-client relationship. Those seeking legal advice should contact an attorney in the appropriate jurisdiction and practice area.
It's 7 a.m. in Los Angeles. Welcome to Love and Order. Today we have TV personality, podcaster, owner of Killer Podcasting Network, New York Times bestselling author, and mom of 4, Kail Lowry. Hi, Kail.
Hey, thank you for having me. First of all, thank you for calling me a TV personality and not on teen mom star. Thank you so much.
So you know how I feel about teen mom, and I'm going to disclose my conflict of interest right here and right now, because on February 24th, 2022 is the day that Kail Lowry followed me on TikTok. And when I tell you, I jumped and screamed and I called my sister. I'm like, Lillian, Kail followed me. And I immediately, I think it's because you also have the blue check. That's also why I noticed immediately.
Right.
But the second someone you're following follows you on TikTok, the message opens, the chat opens up, right? Mm-hmm. So I immediately messaged Kail and I said, holy effing shit, I love you. That was within seconds. And then on February 25th, 7:28 a.m., Kail said, I love you back. So that is all out there. It is out there. And I have, you are a TV personality. Of course, you've been on Teen Mom for 105 years.
Yeah.
Right. It seems like you're no longer going to be on there. And we'll talk about that. But on the top, starting from right now, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. School is coming to a close for my kids. So just trying to figure out what we're going to do to stay busy all summer.
Oh my God.
Overall, I feel pretty good.
Yeah, you feel pretty good. Okay, awesome. Because I think was it last week that on social, on Instagram, you're very transparent, Kail, about your mental health, about everything, every single thing. And I think that's why the connection has been so strong with your audience. But last week, I noticed that you were posting a lot about your mental health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the depression, I definitely think I've had it for longer than I was ever really willing to admit. And then over the last couple months, it's just gotten so bad that I was like, I need to take care of myself, but also there has to be other people that are going through this too. And so I just felt really compelled to share with my audience. And it's crazy because I feel a bigger connection now that I've been so open about my mental health, with my audience than ever before.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think the thing that social media does is exactly that, right? Because if you look at your life now, and something I told you on your podcast when I was on Barely Famous is I'm so proud of you because I've seen you from the very, very start when Joe's mom was the star of the show, right? And until now, right? So I've seen you. And I love her. I forget her name, but I love her.
Her name is Janet.
Janet, I love you, Janet. You are a mama bear, okay? And I'm sure she's a wonderful grandmother too. But since then, we've been watching you grow up, right? And you went from, I think, not even knowing where you would get your rent money, right? To now you have this insanely gorgeous, huge house. Okay. And when I say I called my sister when you followed me, I mean, when you started posting your house, I'm like, Lillian, look at this. My bathroom needs to look like that. Lillian, look at this. Look at her desk.
Well, I'll tell you where I got everything. So when you're ready to go shopping, you'll know exactly where to go.
Listen, link me right after
I
because just so everyone knows, the reason first of all, I am loud, but the reason, everyone comments, why are you yelling? I'm not really yelling most of the time. It's because my house is empty.
Okay? So echoes.
Yeah, there's a hardwood floor. If I showed you what this room looked like just to get prepped for this, you'd be like, Limor, I'm going to send someone over and they are going to fix everything because it looks like it kind of looks like I'm in a facility. That's what it looks like right now. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
That's okay. Whatever works. And nobody sees it.
Yeah, nobody sees it. You just see this, and that's all you're gonna see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is what I want to hit with you, okay? Because I want to talk about the legal aspects of your life. And one of the things that I know that you had a defamation case that came to an end recently.
Yeah.
I know that you have your teen mom contracts.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you've been married and divorced.
Yep.
And
the list goes on.
Does the list go on? Because I didn't know about your defamation case until you gave a house tour or an office tour on your Instagram. And I think you pulled out like a folder and it said defamation. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm taking a screenshot. What the hell is this? What is this? So I know about those cases. Are there any other cases that you've been involved in the last like 15 years? What were they?
I have four or five attorneys on retainer at all times, all for different things.
Oh my goodness.
Which is crazy because when I first joined the cast of 16 and Pregnant and then joined the cast of Teen Mom 2, I didn't have an attorney. I didn't have a lawyer. So I literally just signed whatever they gave me. And then, so to look back and be like, I had no idea what I was doing. I wouldn't have had $1,500 to go like have someone look over a contract at the time. But now I have a criminal attorney for my incident that happened, I think it was 2020, which we can talk about. And then I have my entertainment attorney who does all my contract stuff now. I have my entertainment, criminal, family law. I work with two family lawyers because we've had situations in two different counties, just because one of my kids' dads live in a different county. And so I have a lawyer there, and then I have a lawyer in this county, and then I'm missing one. I have a trademark attorney. His name is Mitch. He's great. He's phenomenal. He's in Florida. And then I feel like I'm missing one. Well, there's four. I think I have a fifth one. I can't. So they're on retainer at all times because I never know what I'm going to need. And I will literally text them like, hey, like need to do a call or whatever. And so, and now I want to go to law school.
And now you want to go to law school. I love that. I can't imagine, like you were saying, the mental health stuff, right? You're so transparent. So sometimes I see that and I'm like, why would you want to be an attorney? Because it's just as depressive on this side. And that's just work. Work.
I actually saw on my For You page, this woman came up on my page and she's an attorney and she also struggles really, really bad with depression. And she posts about it, like being an attorney and having depression. And her life was literally my life, except for I don't have a law degree, but I was like, okay, so if she can do it, as I'm fighting depression regardless, like I'm battling it no matter what. So why not battle it doing something that I've always wanted to do and just never had the chance, And so I've talked about, so one of our producers for the Teen Mom franchise what happens when you don't practice law anymore? Are you still an attorney or no?
You can if you keep your license active.
Okay, so I'm not really sure what his status is on that, but he was an attorney and he was telling me all about like the different types of attorneys and things like that. And he told me that he did family law and it was really, really hard for him and he would take his cases home with him and like he couldn't separate it. And so in that moment I decided, after everything that I had been through with custody and things like that. I mean, I never expected to go to trial over my kids before. And
Right.
I didn't have to do that with my ex-husband or Joe. And so I decided I'd never want to be a family attorney, which I know you are. So sorry.
Listen, I don't blame you, because it takes a lot to not take it home. It takes so much, right? And I tell people all the time, if we are going to court, like, you need a reality check, because these judges, they don't know Jack from Jill. They don't know Jack from Jill. We write them, different jurisdictions are different, but double space, 10 pages. And in 5 of the pages, you want to disparage the other parent, and I have to edit it out. And when I ask you what park do you go to with your kid on Saturdays, you don't even know the name. So it's like, you want that person reading that, making your schedule? Like, how is that, But yeah, of course, you definitely take it home with you. And you have 4 kids and 4, you have 3 different, there's 3 different fathers, right? So it's 3 different co-parenting relationships you have to deal with. So yeah, if you were a family law attorney, it would be 100 at a time, and it's cuckoo. But let's go back to the teen mom, so we can just talk about it and get it over with. I know, Kail. And they like to say, Kail, this is what gave you your platform. And I will say this. You don't even have to comment on that. I'll say this. Yes. You were on a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
What? 2010? I don't know.
I started in 2009.
2009.
Yeah.
If you were uninteresting, okay, you wouldn't be here.
No. But right? I always give credit and say thank you for the opportunity. There's never been a time that I ever insinuated that MTV is not where I started, I have never. And so when people are like, you should be thankful, I can't believe you flipped off so-and-so. And it's like, that doesn't mean that I'm not thankful for what the opportunities that I have gotten because of it. You know what I mean? I've never discredited that.
Right. And it's weird because, yeah, you flipped off the cameras on one of the last episodes, right? And it
was more of a general. It wasn't like, fuck you, Larry. Can I curse on here?
Yeah,
I love Larry. Larry is actually one of the people that, he told me if I ever went to law school, he'd come to my graduation. That's the type of relationship that we always had. So, and I would never flip him off. It was just a general, a blanket statement. You know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean, because it's funny. The same people that say you're not grateful because you flipped off the cameras that are in your face are the same people who like to say, well, you're not really transparent about your real life on the show. Excuse me, that was a real reaction to the cameras. I love these people, but the cameras are in my face. To get them out of my face, I'm going to flip them off.
And they're going to stay in my face even though I flipped them off. No, and it wasn't to the camera people either. And they all,
no, it was to us, right?
What's that?
It was to us, right?
No, I don't know. I don't even remember the scene, but it's so hard. I get so frustrated because I want to be transparent. I feel like whether you love me or hate me, I have been through so much shit in my life that I feel like people can resonate with what I've been through regardless of if they like me or not. And I want to be transparent and I want to share the hard parts of my life. But I feel like when it has to be edited down from what they get to 1 minute, 2 minutes, it doesn't come out, it doesn't show on the show at the bigger picture. And that's where I get frustrated, because then people come up with all these scenarios and they fill in their own blanks. And I just felt like if I had my own show and I had more time to tell the entire story, I think one, I would be more open to my kids' dads filming. And also I think that everyone would be more open to sharing if I had more time. I think that's my biggest complaint this last season.
So, that's a really good point, because it is really 4 to 5 girls and their families in 1 hour every week.
Well, it actually is edited down to 44 minutes.
44 minutes, because you guys are selling those ads because everyone loves you, right? So that's a really, really good point, because even though we feel like we know you guys, right, we don't actually really know every single thing that has ever occurred in your lives to bring you to this place, right? Like I still feel like I know you so well because I've seen all these things, but I haven't seen everything.
Right.
I haven't seen everything, right? So how much time passes from between season to season?
It depends. So some seasons would be back to back with no break at all. And so we would film like for a year, and then they would make like 2 seasons out of it. Sometimes, depending on like the network, which is not the people who film us, but at MTV itself, they would give us like either a few weeks or a few months in between, not knowing if we would get another season. And so we would kind of pick up wherever we were. But I would say it would be more frequently back to back to back. So we would just film all year long.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Did you take a break in between at all?
Well, I did. We never did like as a franchise, I don't think. But for me, I took I thought it was 6 months. Kristen said it was 3 months. I don't really know. But I wasn't in a couple episodes, and it's overwhelming when you want to tell the story and it's just not being told the way that you feel like it should be. And so I personally took some time off.
Yes, but you took that time off during this last season, right? That was the break that you took in the middle of the season, right? Because I remember you were there in the beginning, and then one of
the you're right.
Right? So you were still in the season. So you've never even, my God.
It's like the most time I've had off was 3 months. Those 3 months.
Oh my God. I would
12 years.
I would flip off those cameras too. Oh my God. Come on. There are people on that show or at the reunion who've been on camera twice, who give the crew more attitude and walk off and they're not happy. So I can't even imagine from 2009 till now. That is a year before I started law school. Oh my God. And I was so obsessed with the show. Oh my God. I was so obsessed.
Well, the first couple years of the show, we were getting 1-2 million viewers per episode on the air date. So I think people talk shit about like the ratings dropping and stuff. I actually don't think that they're dropping because people are not interested. I think they're dropping because people don't pay for cable anymore.
That's 100% it, because everyone still talks about the show and all of you girls, and your popularity just keeps going up and up. All of you have millions of followers everywhere. So
I don't know why they won't just move it to like Hulu or Netflix, where people are paying for streaming. Like that was my other issue, was like, why am I going to keep filming for this show when I get more views on my Instagram story than I do on Teen Mom? Because people are paying for cable.
Wow.
No?
Wow. So when this started, though, you didn't have an attorney. How old were you? 17? Because you were on 16 and Pregnant, but you were 17.
Mm-hmm.
So you signed the contract. Who was the adult?
If I had to guess, it was probably Joe's mom. She had temporary custody of me at the time. I don't remember if my mom signed it. I guess I would have needed somebody, right? Because I was a minor.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either Joe's mom or my mom. I don't know.
So it was Janet? Maybe it was Janet. Oh my God, how cute. How cute. How are they finding you guys back then?
So I think for the first group of girls, don't quote me on this, but I think there was like, they did Craigslist ads or whatever they were doing.
I heard that before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Macy or someone said that. And then for us, I was already pregnant. I got pregnant at Joe's prom, not at Joe's prom, but prom night. How cliche. And I saw the show and I was already pregnant. And I was like, what do I have to lose? Like, all of these girls had, with the exception of Caitlin and Tyler, had really strong family situations. And I was like, I don't. So let me see what I can do. So I went on MTV.com and it said now casting. And I was like, I'll just write a couple sentences. I have nothing to lose. And to be honest with you, I completely forgot that I did it. And so when I got a call like 2 or 3 weeks later, I didn't think it was real. And I was like, do you want me to do what? You want me to film myself doing what? like have me and Joe like answer all these questions on video or whatever. And Joe, of course, didn't believe me. And he was like, I guess I'll do it. So I go get in the shower and he's answering all the questions. And then a couple weeks from there, I got another call saying that we were picked. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I definitely didn't expect this at all.
Wow. So
it was just like a shot in the dark.
Oh my God. Wow. And look at you now. That
like,
is
what the
crazy.
Heck? But I think like, what was I thinking? Like when I applied, like what was going through I don't know if I like, what did I think I was going to get out of it? I don't really know, but I did it. And then I got picked and I still to this day, like even my family members would be like, Kail, you're not that interesting. And I'm like, I know, but like, why do people care? Because they care.
You are one of the most interesting to me. And
really?
I think, yes. And I think it's because of the transitions and the progress in your life and it's the same thing. Like you mentioned, Caitlin and Tyler, same thing, to see where you came from to where you are now, because we've seen people on the franchise who we've seen where they've come from and we see them now and there's not much growth. Right. I see, like, for me, you really have stepped into adulthood, right? Yeah. Right before our eyes. And yes, you get pissed off and whatever. Newsflash, moms and adults get pissed off at everything. Like, I don't understand how, it just has turned into this, this person has an attitude. They're not acting like a mom. They're not acting like this. And it's like, they're human just like us. You are actually letting us see it.
I think people forget that we are humans and we aren't characters. You know what I mean? And so, she's my favorite or she's my least favorite or I like so-and-so. And it's like, but in person, I think people would see a human, you know what I mean? Where it's like coming across on TV as if we're characters, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a good way of putting it. Cause I think that is spot on.
I wish that they would have kind of followed the journey of where I came from. Like, I wish I could have taken them to my hometown and shown them, how I grew up, because I think a lot of people forget where I started. And, I don't know if people just don't remember, but like, I didn't have a dad. My mom lived in a hotel. Like, I don't think that people remember. I mean, my mom was an addict and an alcoholic my whole life, and I didn't have siblings to like lean on, and I didn't have support in that way. And so I do wish that they would have kind of filmed or tried to film some of the trauma that I went through as a child, because I think that people would understand me more, not making excuses for my behavior, but I think that they would understand how I got to where I was when I started the show.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's why that show idea we were talking about that one time, I think it's crucial. Yeah, I think it's so crucial for everyone to see that, to do exactly that, just to know exactly where you came from. Because like I said, I feel like I know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so interesting that you were an only child, right? And now you have 4 kids.
Yeah.
Right. A house that is so chaotic and seems really fun. Hi, Instagram. Good morning, Instagram.
I knew when I had Isaac, like, even though I was so young, I didn't really want kids. I had never been around babies at all. And when I had Isaac, I even just told him the other day, I said, when I had you, I knew I was going to have more at that time, because I grew up an only child and I hated it so much. Like, I hated it. So I was like, I knew I didn't think I'd have 4 kids, let alone 4 boys, but I knew I would have more children after I had him. So it's so crazy. Like, I literally looked at them when I took them to school on Friday and I was like, do I really have 4 kids? Like, I'm really responsible for all 4 of y'all. And they just laugh because they don't know. But I'm like, that is my everyday thought, is like, oh my God, like, I have 4 humans to take care of.
Yep. And you take care of them so well. Do you see yourself having a 5th child?
I don't know. Like, the idea of starting over when my youngest, he's about to be 2, and I had a really hard time bonding with him, just like the circumstances surrounding the pregnancy and stuff. And so it was really, really hard for me to bond with him. And now we are getting so close, and he asks for me and we cuddle, and he's becoming independent now. He's about to be 2 and just like does things with the older kids. to think about starting over. I don't know, but my boyfriend doesn't have kids of his own. And so it could go either way.
It can go either way. How long have you been with your boyfriend?
Not long. We've only been together like 3 months. 3 months.
This is the guy that was on the last reunion?
Yeah.
You've only been with him for 3 months?
Yeah.
Oh, why did hang on. I'll be honest. Listening to your podcast, was he a guest on one of your podcasts?
No, that was my ex. I released that episode when we were already broken up.
There we go. And his name is Chris?
No, that's my baby daddy.
Okay.
Malik was the one that was on the podcast episode that I released, but we were already broken up.
Did you ever say his name on that episode?
No.
That is why I was confused, Kail.
Yeah, most people are. Because you know what? I just felt like I want to be transparent, but I'm scared for some things. Like there are some things that I am an open book about. And then there are certain, like my dating life has been so scary for me to bring to the public because I've been ripped to shreds for having 3 baby dads and dating on the show and things like that. And I think that, again, people forget that I am a human being. So just because I date doesn't mean that I don't have my priorities together, especially because my kids do have dads and they do go to their dads. So like, I have always just been really scared I think I dated a couple people on the show and then just social media ripped me to shreds. So I was like, I'm not going to tell anyone about this one. And so we were on and off for like 2 years, like 2.5 years. And then we broke up, but I still released the episode because I felt like it was a good one. And then I got with boyfriend now and it happened pretty quickly. I will admit that, but it is what it is.
So when he kind of barely showed his face on the reunion.
I told him, I'm like, mask, don't say your name. Like I wanted him to.
You said that on camera. You're like, don't say your name. Don't say anything. Just say hi. Okay, there he is. Okay, do you see him? Okay, bye.
Because I want to be transparent, but I'm scared because people just fucking rip me apart. And so it's like I'm a human when I'm talking about depression, but I'm not a human when I talk about my dating life. And then I had someone comment that really stuck with me. And it was like, she was like, it's really crazy how, this really deep depression you're in and you're still dating. And I'm like, actually, I didn't respond to her, but in my head, it was like, actually, the depression hit me as hard as it did after we were already together. So I was like, I didn't say that to her because I was like, I don't owe you an explanation.
I think it has to be that people, because they don't really, unless you've been diagnosed or you see a therapist where you can speak about these things, I think people don't understand. You can have everything, and still be depressed.
Yeah.
You can have that gorgeous house that you have, 4 amazing, knock on wood, healthy children, a beautiful new relationship, cameras in your face because people are obsessed, 5 million gazillion followers, and you can still be depressed.
Yeah. It's not, and some people are like, oh, if I had money to pay my bills, I wouldn't be depressed. It's not that easy. It's just, it doesn't work that way. That's not how mental health works. But that's part of the problem, right? That's part of why I want to be more open and talk about it, because I think that people just assume when you have it all, you can't be depressed.
And I think that, that type of comment, if I could pay my bills, I wouldn't be depressed. They think that the solution is so easy. If those solutions were that easy, oh my God, we'd be in such a great place, right? If getting into a relationship fixed everything, oh my God, that would be wonderful.
That would be great. I would be in a different place right now.
So whose decision is it to have your co-parents on the show? Does MTV approach them? Do you get to decide what happens?
So it depends. There were years where I tried to get Chris to film before what happened in 2019. And he refused. And then I guess like whenever things were done, they approached him and or maybe he approached them. I don't really know because I wasn't a part of it, but somehow they got together outside of it. They will ask, like, say I'm boyfriend now, like say we were filming or whatever, and he doesn't want to film, they'll have me ask him. And then if he says no, then they'll ask him.
Oh, but are they signing contracts?
It depends. So like friends and stuff like that, if the same friend is constantly in scenes, they'll sign a contract. Same for a boyfriend. If it's only one time, they will sign a waiver giving like
just
permission to film. Yeah, like a release. But they won't sign a contract. But I've had friends who MTV will be like, okay, we need to film these 3 scenes about X, Y, and Z. And my friends will be like, well, we have to work or we have to do this and that. And so they will, if they have to call off of work or if they come over after work, they will get paid because it's an obligation. You know what I mean? Like they're going out of their way to come film a scene or do whatever. And that goes across the board for cast members, not just me. And then same for boyfriends or dating relationships. Like I think if they're in every single episode or whatever, like Javi, for example, filmed for free at first, but then once it became serious and got married, then he's under contract and gets paid.
And are you negotiating contracts every season or were you? Oh, okay. So how often?
Some contracts have like a clause for how many cycles it would be.
A term, yeah.
Yeah. And then like I left the show when I still technically owed them 2 more cycles.
This time that you left?
Yeah.
This final, done with, over with, you owe them 2 cycles?
I think I had 2 cycles left and I left.
You know, you broke a lot of hearts by leaving, just so you know. Okay.
I want my own show. I just want my own. I don't care if it's YouTube, Netflix, Hulu. I don't want it on cable. And if I'm going to be transparent, I want to be able to tell my story how I want to tell my story.
Well, I think that's fair because you've experienced it for over a decade. So you know how these producers are. Listen, Larry, amazing. The people that, you know, once they allowed us to see the people behind the scenes also, they all seem great. But I think, and maybe it's because I live in LA, reality TV show producers are there to do a job.
Right. 100%.
You know, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I want to work with whoever I'm working with. If I get my own show, I want to bring the drama too. That's right. It sells. I get it. I want to bring the drama, but I want it to be authentic. I want it to be true to who I am and not edited down to make sense in 2 minutes to other people.
Yes. Yes. Do you think that they ever, I love how we're not going to talk about Teen Mom, but do you think that editing had anything to do with you being deemed a villain? And does you calling yourself a villain, because I know you do that at the top of Barely Famous, is that because of Teen Mom?
Yes.
The trolls? Okay.
Yes. It's definitely because of Teen Mom. I feel like I always compare myself to Maleficent because I feel like she's so misunderstood and she didn't start off bad. She, I feel like my intentions are good. And where I started, like if you understood where I came from, you would understand where I am now. And that's just like Maleficent, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but
I have. That's very cute.
You know what I mean? And so, what was your question again? I just completely lost. Oh, the villain part. Yeah. No. It is partially my fault. I will admit that because I would be so cold and defensive because for years I didn't want people to see me lovey with Javi, and I just felt like that made me look weak, and so I would be mean. And so then I was going to get a bad rap for, people would see that and it would come across on TV as like not really great. But like, I was just trying to figure out like, if I love him, am I weak? If I do this, am I weak? And I remember there was like one scene where I was like crying about them. I don't want them to film my laundry that wasn't folded because I just had Lincoln. And I was just so upset. And I was like, please don't film that. People are going to come for me. They're going to attack me. And so that's where all like the coldness and the defensive, demeanor, I guess. I was afraid. And so that's how I kind of thought that I could protect myself, but it ended up backfiring. So yes to editing, but also my fault as well.
Aw, you are so diplomatic. You're so fair. And that's what I've always really loved about you, because you you take accountability for everything. And I think that you know that you've done some shitty things.
Yeah.
Right. And you've had these shitty experiences. Right. And I remember one of your episodes on one of the podcasts, because Kail has 5 million I'm not joking. Listen to me. I'm not kidding. Okay. When we talked about me being on her podcast, I didn't know I was going to be on Barely Famous until a couple days before, because I'm like, which one am I going to be on? I could fit into any of them. Like,
you really can.
On all of them. And then, you know, obviously it was on Barely Famous, but I remember you saying something about Javi and your relationship. And I think part of what you said, correct me if I'm wrong, was right person, wrong time.
Yeah, I said that.
And that is so interesting to me, because out of all of the guys I've seen you with on this show, Javi is one of my least favorite. Now. Listen, one of my least favorite.
That is not where I saw that going. I did not expect you to say that.
No, and it might be because I have a bias towards Janet, but Joe is absolutely my favorite.
Really?
Absolutely.
He was so fucking mean to me.
You know what it was? Maybe I should go watch 16 and Pregnant again before I say this. I feel like, and maybe it was more Janet as his mouthpiece back then. Okay. I feel like he was forcing you to grow up really fast and not realizing that you're pregnant. You're a woman now on TV. He's not going to get ridiculed the way you got ridiculed. No one cares. He's just the guy, right? I mean, no disrespect, but that's just the way these reality TV shows work too. It's called Teen Mom.
Right.
It's Teen Mom.
Not Teen Dad. Right.
Yeah. And underneath their names, it always says Kail's baby daddy, like, you know, Isaac's dad. Yeah. It's not, you know, the show under your name. It's literally, there's nothing there. It says Kail. Right. You know, so I think that it was a lot of that back then. But I related to that more because I think Janet just reminded me of the way the moms that I knew and my mom, or, you know, would be if their son was having a child with his girlfriend at that age. And then Javi, I was never into him as your partner. There was just something about him. I just thought you could do so much better. And then we don't even want to talk about Chris. I mean, Chris is the third one, right? Yeah. Listen, you said something on the reunion that really upset me. And I think, does that have to do with your criminal case?
Yes. No. Involving Chris, yes, but not. So October 2019 is separate from my criminal case, but my criminal case does involve Chris.
The problem here, the third co-parent is Chris. Yeah. And Chris is so far down the list for me. And this is, you know, this is me being a fan, right? This is like, I don't know them. I don't know these people. Yeah. I know Janet. I know Kail. Janet. Those are the only people I know. And I hope you have a great relationship with her, because
we don't really talk. I did see her for Memorial Day weekend, but we don't really, she'd actually just moved to Delaware.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Is there a reason you don't really talk?
I think Joe and our relationship has been pretty weird. Like when we have problems, it's really just like resentment that we're not talking about, but we don't like fight or anything. And so like, we just didn't really talk. Like, I forgot that he's even my co-parent, you know, like we just don't. Now we're fine. Like now he'll be like, hey, do y'all want to come swimming or whatever? But like, I don't know. Like we just went through like a couple years of just not really talking at all. And so I just lost touch with his family. But it's always fine when I see them. Like I saw them at their house for Memorial Day weekend, but yeah, we're fine. Like everything's good.
Okay. So that's a testament to your co-parenting.
Because that's what I was trying to say about the Chris stuff. I've said it 100 times. Like, yes, it took me and Joe a long fucking time to get where we are. And it took Javi and I a long time to get where we are, but we got there. So it's possible. So I know this third time, I'm not the problem. It's the other one that's the problem. Like, I know how to co-parent at this point, and I don't want to go through all the BS to be able to co-parent. I'm nice. I tried to be very unproblematic, least problematic for him. I only email, things like that. And he'll tell me, oh, learn to co-parent. Okay.
Because I think he probably knows that's where he can get you. It hurts the most, right?
It doesn't hurt me because I am very capable of co-parenting. I have proven that to myself twice now.
I love it. I love it. I can see Isaac mediating between you and all of your co-parents because he
now wants to go to law school.
Oh my God.
I said, Isaac, we will go to law school together. Like, we will be in law school together. Because he wanted to be a writer. And I was like, writers make good lawyers. They can make good lawyers. Yes. So it's like, we'll just do a firm together. And he's like, well, what kind of lawyer? And we go over it. And
I love him. I love him so much. He's so freaking cute. I love how I said, I love how Joe was my favorite for you. Oh. Joe's like, not there. Javi is the one you'd most like, right person, wrong time. Not my favorite person.
I don't know if I feel that way anymore.
Yeah, you don't, you said.
No, I don't. I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like I don't think that we should have, like, I obviously thank God for Lincoln, but I'm in a place now where I'm like, I don't even know why I was with Javi.
I don't know why you were with him. I don't know why you were with him.
Like, we would have been just good friends, like just regular friends. I don't think that we should have taken it to the next level.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Young and dumb. Can we blame that?
Yeah, I think that's what it is because, obviously you have Lincoln.
Yeah, love him to
death. That's what that relationship was meant to be for. Yeah. But I never understood I just never understood. I never got it. It never made sense. It never made Oh my God.
Yeah, him and I went from because we were go back and forth since we got divorced. I mean, and now we've been on email basis only since February. And this is what we needed to do the whole time. We never needed to go back and forth about dating and getting back together and getting remarried. I mean, he was calling me his wife again in January. And I was like, this is not.
That is so manipulative.
I can't do this. And so then we switched back to email only, and it's been great. It's been, I'm sure for him as well, just a relief to not be entertaining that.
I love it. I love it. So now let's move on to that criminal case, and only tell me what you can tell me.
I'm an open book at this point.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
It's the haircutting incident. I don't know if
we talked about it on Barely Famous. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So that's the criminal case, and basically went to my attorney. I got him on a retainer, and explained to him that a police officer called me 3 weeks after said incident, and I didn't do it. I never put my hands on him. We argued, whatever, and I left, and that was it. And so then I got arrested, and I didn't even know if I got arrested because I went to the police station myself, and I was like, hey, this police officer called me, which my family attorney at the time was like, this doesn't seem right. This has to be a prank. He didn't believe it.
Wow.
And when I told Tom, which is my criminal attorney, I said, I didn't do this. I don't know what's going on. He ultimately got the case no prosequi, I think it's called, where it's just all completely dropped.
Okay. So this was you thought they cut.
He cut my son's hair with it looked so crazy. And I was in the car with Natalie, which is one of my best friends and also my nanny for the kids. And then I think he was 15 at the time, go pick up Lux from Chris's mom's house. And when we got in the car, realized Caden, which is the son, Natalie's son, was like, Kail, they cut his hair. And I was like, oh my God. So I get out of the car. Natalie is right behind me. They have this glass storm door, their front door. His mom sees me coming in. She unlocks it. She opens the door. And I said, where's Chris? Now, at this time, Chris had a PFA against him. I had a PFA against him. So he was not actually supposed to be there when I did pick up. He was supposed to have left.
I see. So that's a restraining order, a protective.
Yes. Mm-hmm. A protection from abuse.
Got it.
So he wasn't even supposed to be there at pickup. And whenever I got there, she let me in and I said, "Where's Chris?" Because I knew he did it. I knew nobody else did it. And she pointed to the kitchen and I looked at him and I'm just like talking with my hands, like, "You don't have the right to do this, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm the primary parent. Like, you don't get to do this." And it was his first major haircut. I don't even know if he had a trim at that time. And his hair's down to his butt. So it was a big deal. And I just feel like when you're co-parenting, we need to be on the same page about this. Like, I feel like we could have done the first haircut together or talked about it. I got no warning, no nothing. So I storm out, I left. Natalie was right behind me the whole time, and Caden was in the car with Lux. So nothing came of this. And I'm thinking, okay, nothing's going to happen because not only was there a PFA and he wasn't supposed to be there, but like, wouldn't that be a check on his part,
right,
not mine?
Right.
So I don't think anything of it. Go home. I'm rocking the baby at 8 p.m. 3 weeks later, I get a call from an officer saying there's a warrant for my arrest. And I'm like, for what? And then I see the police report. There's a whole story on there. I tell the attorney, and he handled it for me.
Oh my God. How much are you paying these attorneys?
Well, it depends. My entertainment attorney, she's based out of New York, and her prices are absolutely insane. She typically charges, I think, over $700 an hour. Great attorney. So I love her so much. Like, I don't even care. I wouldn't want to work with anyone else for that.
Amazing.
I don't know like if it varies by state, but and then I had, for my defamation case, I had two firms because the case was in Florida. And so I had to have my regular entertainment attorney, and then I had to have counsel in Florida. So then that was that was so expensive. And then my family law only is $350 an hour, which is like half of my entertainment attorney.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't know what's typical, but they're all great. I love them all. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's a lot of attorneys to have on retainer, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. You know what? I think my retainer might be up actually for my criminal attorney, and I hope I never need a criminal attorney ever again. Yeah. How do you pick them? How do you find your lawyers? Mainly recommendations from my other attorneys. Got it. Okay. So my family attorney, who didn't believe the guy that called me for the arrest, the warrant, he recommended my criminal attorney. So I love it. You mentioned, I'm trying to find, here's my phone. I'm going to, listen, I want to respect you, and I want you to, if you want me to edit this out, let me know, but I want to just put this out there because people have asked about it, right? I made a TikTok about you being on, I made an Instagram, and people are totally obsessed with you. But one of the comments that came up, and this came up, months and months ago too, when I talked about you online, and I want to read your initial response to me, and then I want to let it go. Okay. So someone, and now many people, have said, why would you have Kail on your podcast? Because she is let me see what this person, I don't even know what this person wrote. What'd you say? I'm an abuser or something. Right. They say that you're an abuser. Yeah. I screenshot the first ever comment I got about that because I had forgotten again, because of your progress, right? Something happened. You took accountability. You took the steps to fix it. I even forgot about it because you don't even remind me of that same person anymore. Right. So when I got these comments, I'm like, whoa, I hate these trolls. What are these trolls doing? I said this girl's name once and you're writing this BS to me. And this was like a month ago. So they wrote me something, and your response, and the comment was basically, she's an abuser. Why are you talking about her? Something like that. Yeah. I did push my ex-husband in 2012. You put a sad face, but I immediately put myself in therapy and apologized publicly and privately. Mm-hmm. I have been actually apologizing for that since 2012. Yeah. I still apologize for it to this day. I don't know why people think that because people also think that I abuse Joe, and I never, you're hearing it from me now, I've never put my hands on Joe. And anytime I put my hands on Chris was defending myself. And so I'm not proud of pushing him. I don't think that people the immediate feelings of guilt as soon as I did it were real. The closest thing that I can compare it to is like when someone snaps.
It was like an out-of-body experience.
It's not okay. It's never okay. I do think that I'll be apologizing for it for the rest of my life, but I'm okay with that because I feel like I did it and I am sorry. And so because I am sorry, I have no problem continuing to apologize.
Right. Yeah, I think that is so mature of you because we see other cast members on the same show who don't take accountability for anything. They do these crazy things, and some of them don't even get called out for it. If anything, people are, oh my God, I love you. That was so badass. Like, what are you talking about?
But people don't. I got assaulted on one of the reunions, and people don't talk about that. That's okay, right? Because it was a girl on girl. Was that fine?
BS. Complete BS. Can I tell you something about those reunion shows, Kail?
Yeah. Yes.
I love Dr. Drew. Okay.
I love Dr. Drew. I've been annoyed with him in the past, but overall, I love him.
Yes. Overall, I love him. But, okay. And this is probably why you've been annoyed too. He doesn't call out certain things that are so obvious. Like I'm sitting there at home again with my sister Lillian, and we're sitting there and we're like, Dr. Drew, fucking ask her. She just ask him. What is happening here? And he just doesn't do it.
He has the earpiece that they're telling him.
I don't care, Kail.
But he also, if I had to guess, now don't quote me on this, and Dr. Drew, don't come for me. I know you're supposed to come on my podcast soon, but I don't think he watches the show, so he can't, if they don't tell him in his ear, he doesn't know.
Okay, hang on. MTV Viacom, listen to me right here, right now.
I've
watched every effing episode of this show.
They get the recaps, they get note cards, but Nessa and Dr. Drew do not watch the seasons in their entirety.
Nessa doesn't watch?
I can't prove that, but
I'm going to give them a pop quiz.
You can tell that they don't because to your point, they don't call out obvious things because they don't watch it. They would have, you know what I mean? And if it's not on their note cards, what's that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And they also get some of the details wrong. And that's how you know. Remember when we were in school and we had to read a book, and if you read the cliff notes, you don't get all the information, and then your teacher asks you and you kind of know the gist of it, but you don't have all the information and you get some of the details wrong, and then the teacher knows that you read the cliff notes instead of the actual book. It's like that. You know what I mean? Or did you read? You're a lawyer, so maybe you read all the books. I didn't.
I read all the books. You know what? I have this distinct memory, and this wasn't even when we were really young. This was in 11th grade, and our English teacher, everyone read the Cliff's Notes. So there was one specific question in the assignment, and everyone answered it the same. So she called out the whole. Yes, she called out the whole class, and one by one, everyone had to have a discussion with her, right? She was like, read chapter 7, and one by one, I'm going to call you up. When she called me up, she's like, Limor, I'm just going to keep you here for a couple minutes. I know you read the book.
Oh my God.
I'm like, thank you. Because I'm too scared to get caught, and I'm a nerd. So it's I'm going to do the homework. I was told to do something. I'm going to do it exactly the way I was told.
Well, see, I'm like that now. I wasn't always like that. So reading was not my strong suit. I just would rather be playing lacrosse and didn't care about anything else. And so I was really struggling in high school. But once college hit, I was like, oh, I can't bullshit through this anymore. I have to actually read. So I learned my lesson, but yeah, it's like that with Dr. Drew and Nessa. Shout out to Nessa and Dr. Drew, love y'all, but I know y'all don't be watching.
MTV, I do watch.
Maybe hire somebody who actually watches the show, like Limor.
Oh my God, that's what it is. They don't watch it. My God, and it's such a great show. It's so good. And now I have a question for you. Did you keep up with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation case?
I did. I basically live under a rock. So I would follow bits and pieces that you posted or that my friends told me. I saw the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they were both found kind of liable.
Right.
So he didn't get, but I did see something about like her homeowner's insurance is going to pay his.
Yeah. So she.
So wait, can I get my $100,000 back for Brianna?
So listen.
Like what?
You also need an insurance attorney to go through all of your policies to figure that out for you, because that is a way to pay. Yeah, I know.
You didn't tell me this before.
I know you
can't give legal advice. I understand.
I can't give legal advice. And you know what's so funny? When I was coming on your podcast, Kristen emailed me and said, is it okay if Kail talks about her defamation case with you? And I'm like, well, I can't give legal advice. What is going on with her case? And then I read online that it was already over. So I was like, of course we could talk about it as long as it's already over. And clear something up for me. So a lot of the comments were, Brianna didn't actually win. The case was dismissed. Can you? Okay. So yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I filed the defamation suit. She hired a First Amendment rights attorney, and he filed an anti-SLAPP motion to basically have the case dismissed. And they still the lawyers still did oral arguments to prove their sides or whatever. And then ultimately the judge decided that neither one of us really proved our cases to their full extent, I guess. And he awarded the case to be dismissed. So I guess in that aspect, it would be like in favor of Brianna, because that's what they wanted. They wanted it to be dismissed. And then with that, I had to pay attorney's fees.
So the $100,000 that you were supposed to pay, was it June 1st?
I paid by June 1st. Yeah.
By June 1st. That was all attorney fees.
It was all attorney's fees. Yeah. It was a reimbursement. It was not, she did not win $100,000.
Got it. So was it just based on you make more money?
No, I think because they filed the anti-SLAPP motion, they were the ones that were fighting for it to be dismissed. I think that's why.
Oh, so was it maybe a prevailing party? Attorney fees?
Am I allowed to read what it
Yes,
says?
of course.
Okay, I'll read
You
it.
Can do anything to refresh your recollection. Just read it and then come back and let us know what.
I was going to read it out loud. Like, am I not allowed?
Read it out loud. Read it out loud.
Okay, give me one.
I was making fun of how a court procedure, because with the Depp versus Heard thing, we've seen a lot. Regular people have been seeing how court works, and it's like, no, you can't read from the document unless we're doing this and that. But go ahead, read from.
Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second to find it because I don't remember. Okay, let's see what this says. Okay. Nope, not that one. Hold on.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
And the other attorney that I have is my estate planning attorney.
There we go. How did we miss that? You have 4 kids and $1 gajillion. Where is our head? Like, whoa.
Kristen just texted me and told me, because I couldn't think of the last one, but she's also great, which is my estate planning attorney. Her kids went to school with my kids. And so it's kind of cool that then.
I love that. I love that.
I'm finding the decision. Let me ask Kristen to find it and we'll come back.
Yeah. Find it. Because I'm so interested in knowing, because I think the comment section is, it was dismissed, so no one actually won, or Brianna won and 100,000 is for this and that. Brianna bought, Prada shoes and was showing it off. And I already listened on Barely Famous. I already spoke to this and I'll say it again. For someone, you know what? I didn't even want to say her name, just because it's not about even her. It's about the procedure in the case. But any parent, because I do family law, I see this all the time. If you are begging your co-parent to support the child financially because you already bust your ass, Brianna busts her ass for her kids, for her mom, for her sister, for her household. She probably, is very generous with her friends and, everyone. She busts her ass for these 2 kids. And she asks, from what I don't know her personally, I'm just watching Teen Mom at home. She busts her ass right? She has meetings with her co-parents and she asks them to just pay for extracurriculars. Like she doesn't
Right.
ask for a lot from them and they don't do it. Meanwhile,
I think Des Moines does.
oh, okay. Yes. I've been hearing a lot of great things about him recently.
I think he's great. Yeah.
Yeah. They really make me happy because he also, you've seen a transition and progression with him too, right?
Yes.
He started off with like, yeah, whatever, you're pregnant, whatever. Like, I don't really care, to now being this responsible co-parent.
So here is the decision. And factual background. Okay. Accordingly, it is ordered and adjudged as follows. 1, Soto's motion for summary judgment is hereby granted. Okay, so I guess summary judgment would be if there was enough in the case.
They asked the court to make a decision based on X, Y, and Z and not,
Number 2, the case is hereby dismissed and the judgment is entered in favor of Soto and against Lowry.
Got it.
3, the court reserves jurisdiction to continue the issue of entitlement to attorney's fees and the amount of same. Done and ordered in chambers the 18th day of April 2022.
Got it. So was the $100,000 ordered that day or was it afterwards?
The attorney's fees, the $100,000, they actually asked for like 120 or 130.
Mm-hmm.
And then I basically was like, no. And and then I said, I'll pay $100,000. And they wanted to do, I originally was like, I'll pay it over the course of like a year or two. So I didn't understand, like, do you really need it right here, right now? I mean, nobody wants to pay that much money up front.
Right.
And I know that she got online and was like, she made a comment about it. Oh, like she wanted 2 years to pay it off. Like nobody wants to send $100,000 to anybody. So
absolutely not. And some people just want that because of the way they want their their credit. Like you want to make payments.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's smarter to do it that
right.
way.
It's like, why am I going to spend all my money at once when I can spend it over the course of like time?
Yeah.
And so she was trying to clown me for that, but I'm like, in my head, I was like, you know what? If it was the other way around and you would have paid my attorney's fees, you wouldn't even have it at all. So you're lucky that it went this way. But they wanted like a 12 or 15% interest rate on the money. And so I was like, okay, no. And then it was something about if I filed for bankruptcy, I would still have to pay that money or something. And I was like, okay, also no. And then they wanted to do something with my house and my house would be like collateral or something.
Put a lien on it. Yeah.
Also no, I'll just pay it by June 1st and just be done with it.
Oh my gosh.
So
that is Jesus.
That's tea.
My God. So here's the thing. $100,000 for her attorney fees. How long were you litigating this or attempting to litigate?
It was almost a full year.
Okay.
So, I mean, just because like I said, I had the 2 firms, just for the one, I think it was about the same. So it made,
so it makes
sense. I believe that she paid her attorney at all? No. Because
so here's my
highly publicized. They did pictures outside, they staged photos, things like that. I feel like, in my opinion, it seemed like something that was like, oh, I'll give you a really steep discount, or you don't have to pay me, if that's just my opinion though.
Gross.
I don't know that for sure. I'm just, because I mean, I've done, not for my lawyers, I wish my lawyers would do that for me, but I've done other things where it's like, oh, if I send you this, can you post it? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and like, maybe they didn't pay me, but I'm still going to give you like business, you know what I mean? And so in my opinion, that's what it looked like to me. I don't know for sure, but so I guess in that way she would have won if she didn't pay him or if there was a discount.
Because as I was saying earlier, that you're begging for extra money for extracurricular activities, then you get the $100,000, then you do that disgusting thing with buying a treadmill and sending it to your house, which is complete bullying. It's
she
like
sent me a clown suit as well.
And a clown suit, that is disgusting. And then I saw online, I guess she was at the MTV Awards or something, and she was showing off like these Prada shoes. And
she also posted that she wants to spit on my face. But
So this,
so it's like, how did the judge get to that decision?
I
I
don't
don't understand his but you know what? He's a judge, so I have to respect the decision.
Right. And I tell people that with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, like it was a jury trial. You have to respect it. There are a lot of people who don't agree with the verdicts, and it's like, okay, but this was a jury trial. Like it was up to the jury, and there was great lawyering. So that's what you get. That's what happens. It even got to a jury trial. Because when you read those statements, you're like,
do you think it was because of who they were? They wanted to see it go to the jury, like a jury trial?
I think that they much preferred a jury trial to a bench trial because apparently in the UK there was a lot of BS going on. Right.
Okay.
So that's what I'm hearing now. I didn't know that before, but a lot of people have said that. So I completely understand why they wanted a jury trial if it was going to go to court at all.
I wanted a jury trial for myself.
But you see the judge cut it. What is it? The judge. What's the word? Hello, brain fart. Do I have a brain? The judge
dismissed.
Cut that off
real
soon, real quick.
Yeah.
Even though you were a year into litigation, right? Even though you were a year in. But how does it feel to see, you talk about Brianna because I'm making you talk about her, right? And I understand that. I know that. And again, I didn't even want to say her name. I can't believe we did. Ugh. But the thing for me is I know that you want to move on, but this person, as an outsider looking in, is not allowing for that. So how?
And I talk to Kristen about it all the time. I'm just like, people say, oh, they both need to stop. Or like, if I read comments and stuff, it's like, oh, they're both obsessed with each other, or they're both childish. And it's like, I have only responded to anything that she said about me or done to me. I have never just like come out and said anything about her. So, and even further, like right before all of this happened, I congratulated her on her engagement. So I don't know.
Oh my God.
Literally in the same week that I congratulated her on her engagement, she said that I broke and entered and put my hands on my baby dad. Like we're not the same. And I don't know, like I'm responding. I personally don't feel like there's ever a time where I've come for her or sent her things or done things where she deserves to say something back to me. You know what I mean?
Right. But I'm sure that she feels the same way, right? I think that's
weird, but that's like a twisted perception of reality.
That makes sense.
Right?
That
or
makes
am
sense.
I like, because I cannot think of a time where I've ever like provoked her or like said something first.
Right. Yeah.
Weird.
That's the thing about it. But you're right. I got those comments too. Someone said they both need to grow up and leave each other's lives alone. There's no more connections anymore besides a show, but they keep putting themselves in it. My response was, do you think B will stop even though she was the victor in the case? And this person said, nope, she won't stop. Any stranger can tell she likes to push Kail's buttons any way she can.
It's weird.
It's weird.
It's so weird. I have never, and on Teen Mom Family Reunion, she said, I don't have a problem with Kail. Kail has a problem with me. And then proceeded to send me a treadmill, a clown suit, say she wants to spit on my face, talk about me not having a loving family, like all kinds of, brought up my depression, saying that I can't claim depression when my white privilege and my court doesn't work. Running to court.
So, oh my God.
What I'm just like, I don't feel like I've definitely done my shit.
I was going to say,
this is not one of them that I feel like I've provoked, in my opinion.
I don't get it. I don't get it, because what you just said about the reunion is something I saw too, when she said, I don't have anything bad to say or whatever, what you just said. And then the next line was some vulgar statement about you. And again, Lillian and I looked at each other like, you just said, what is happening? What is going on here? And the thing about all of you is you do have such great lives. Of course, we all have our shit, but you should all, in my opinion, should be working together, making money together.
100%.
Right? So it's just such a shame when I see like you guys have so much in common.
Potential.
Much.
Like we could be creating brands together, not me and her specifically, but just in general.
All of
like,
you. Yeah.
The cast members, you know, collabing on things could make awesome companies, awesome brands, make a lot of money. You know, there's so much potential there, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I would love to see her on one of your podcasts or all of them speaking to you about all of this, because it's so, to me, it's just sad. It's just really sad because I know
she always
that
has an open invite for Barely Famous. So she
Yeah.
can come on there.
Oh, I love how you specified which one. You can't go on Coffee Combos, Brianna. Nope. It's gonna be Barely Famous, okay?
I can't.
Oh my God. So we can't end this without talking about the marriages and the divorces. So
Okay.
have you had the same family law attorney from the start? From your first?
Yes and no. My family, so now I have two, because I have one for Chris and the babies, and then I have my family attorney that I originally used for Chris. I also used for my divorce. He was the lawyer that told me anything over 10,000, I need to get a prenup and la-di-da-di-da. So I just, my life is a shit show, and I'm finally in a place where I can like look at my part in all my problems and like take away from it, and also laugh about some of it, and then, you know, just like talk about it. I feel like I could maybe make a good lawyer because I've been through so much, so I can resonate with a lot of different things, you know?
I think so too. I think you have it in you, and I think you've been through so much and you're easily relatable. And I think the connection between a lawyer and a client, especially in family law, is very important, because I tell my clients all the time, tell me all the shit. I will filter it out, but I need to know everything.
Before we went to trial I don't know if it was trial. I guess it was trial for the babies for custody. I talked to this lawyer, and I never had more respect for a lawyer in my entire life. So I'm talking to him, I'm telling him the whole gist of it. And he literally said to me on the phone, he's like, I'm going to refund your money. He's like, I'm not taking this case. He was like, you don't really have anything here that you can prove, because I guess like mental and emotional abuse is super hard to prove. He was like, good luck. But he like gave me such good advice at the time. I never respected anyone more. He's like, here's your money back, and I'm not taking the case. And I was like, I actually respect that so much that I was like, that's the type of lawyer I want to be. Yeah,
I love that. Oh, that makes me so happy. There are some good ones out there. There really, really are. But you just have to go through, the referrals and this, and ask them the right questions.
Totally.
So I have one last question. How are you feeling now?
I'm going to therapy in 45 minutes. So I feel fine, but I'll probably cry in therapy in a little bit. So we'll see.
Isn't that the best? It's like, it's on your calendar. This is when you're crying, and you can cry, and you can say whatever you want to say. And I don't know, sometimes I always feel like I'm a burden when I'm doing that with friends, but therapy, it's like, ha ha ha.
And then I'm like, this is what you get paid to listen to, so I don't have to be a burden.
Yes. I love it. Oh my God. Well, Kail, I love you. I am obsessed with you.
Likewise.
You're so sweet. Lillian, did you hear that?
Hi, Lillian.
Okay. Well, I love you. We love you. And of course, listen, no one needs to know where to find you because you're everywhere, but go ahead. Can you even name all the podcasts you have?
I have Coffee Combos podcast, Barely Famous podcast, and Baby Mama's No Drama.
Got it. Do you really think it's Baby Mama's No Drama?
Oh, it's Baby Mama's All the Drama.
All the Drama. There we go. And you can find Kail everywhere. Yes. Kail Lowry everywhere. Thank you so much, Kail.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. Thank you.
not legal advice that can be relied on. They are based solely on the limited information provided. These opinions do not create any attorney-client relationship. Those seeking legal advice should contact an attorney in the appropriate jurisdiction and practice area.